is I've told you about the brain core thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm trying to. I don't know exactly what to do. I think there's a really big opportunity.
Huge. It sounds like.
They're talking to me about me in this freaking group already, right? So if I can deliver, it
Yeah.
can work, and there could be 50 whatever clients are. And I know that every opportunity comes along. It's like some work, some don't, whatever.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
if I can deliver, I think it can work.
Then it's game
And
over.
problems keeping up, right? I just did another close just before I got on the call. I got another one, another 2 strategy sessions this week, and I don't even want the one because their goal is to go from 20,000 a month to 100,000 a month. I can't help them do that.
Yeah, it's a big jump. It's not going to happen just with ads. I mean, they can't expect that's not just a marketing problem. Well, you're experiencing it right now. Growing by
Yeah,
tens of thousands of dollars a month presents
yeah,
more problems than just getting new customers. There's a whole bunch of other issues that come up. So,
yeah, for sure.
they're going to need more help than just some ads. You can help them, but they can't put $80,000 of revenue on your head. I
No,
mean, it's just
no. I mean,
unrealistic.
probably at best is another 10 grand. Kind of is what I'm thinking. Maybe 15, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But
which is great, right? Because then they can grow their. If they put some other processes in place, they can create some referral programs and do. I mean, I don't know how many clinics in the space are doing 100 grand a month. Are there a lot?
so I don't know if there's any.
Right. So, I
But
mean,
these guys are pretty dialed in. I mean, you can tell by their website, right? They got some shit going on.
do they want to do it with more than one clinic, or they want to keep it all under one roof?
I don't know. I'll find out when I do the call, right? But I just that was good though. Just what you said, that kind of helps me to guide it a little bit, right?
Yeah,
So that helps.
because I mean, most people in that model, if they're going to grow to 6 figures a month, multiple 7 figures a year, they're likely not going to do it with one clinic. It's the same as a
No,
dentist or anybody else. You've only got so much that you can take from an area. You're going to have to expand, and your margins start to get hurt, right? So I like our business. Our margins can stay pretty much the same regardless of growth. But if you're a
yeah,
dentist, I mean, you know, we work with some dentists, and top guys have 5 or 6 clinics in a city. They cover the entire geographic area of a city, and they make good bucks, but their overhead's crazy.
right, right, okay.
But it's
Well,
if they want to grow the number, that's what they likely are going to have to do.
right, right. Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, we'll see where it goes.
That's
But
that's
just
awesome.
getting those results for those clients would be freaking awesome. The other thing that I'm noticing too is that their promo campaigns don't last forever.
No, no, you have to. You can run them for a period of time. If the market starts to see it and stop responding, you have to change it up in some regard. Sometimes, like we've ran promo campaigns for dentists, where you can just change up the creative. Like you can almost just change up the image, and the audience will start to respond again. If that doesn't work, then we go to typically the copy. If the copy change up doesn't work, then we basically have to go and restructure the offer. And sometimes it's rephrasing it, it's saying the same thing in a bit of a different way. And if that still doesn't work, we haven't really had that yet where the offer completely stops functioning. But if
Okay.
the offer stops working completely, then you have to kind of be creative about coming up with a new
Like a
way to
VSL kind of campaign or whatever,
probably
right?
just something. Yeah, you could do like a value campaign, and sometimes too, it's not that the offer is burnt out forever. It could just be the offer is burnt out for a month or a couple
Right.
months. So you maybe switch to more of an educational type of campaign, and then you can switch back to the offer, right? And you're going to get a little bit of a
Okay.
mix of that too.
Okay.
So
So the VSL campaign, would that be kind of like just the same one that I did for my own business?
totally. Yeah,
Pretty much.
it's a basic value campaign, right? I mean, the concept is very similar, right? Except you're booking appointments for the clinic versus booking appointments for yourself. You've already
Okay.
clearly got that figured out, right? So,
Right.
you're not having to necessarily rely on somebody, coming in with a coupon or something like that. If you want, you can put the scheduler right on the thank you page, or and some systems will let you tie it right into their whatever their in-house system is. Others, it's going to be a separate thing. So it depends on the clinic owner what he wants to do. But
Okay.
most of those guys, they're thrilled if you can get their calendar filled with even introductory calls that either their receptionist can do or somebody who's doing bookings for them can do, or book
Right.
them right into their calendar so these people are like booked in, and whatever their confirmation systems are. That's the tricky part, and we dealt with this with dentists too. like some of these guys want to grow and they're just not good business people. Like it's not a marketing problem. Like you start to get marketing going, and then all of a sudden, every other piece of their business you find out is broken. Like
pretty much. Pretty much.
Their receptionist is no good. Like they don't have a booking calendar. They don't know how to upsell. They don't have any systems in their business. They've never really been trained, and that's where it presents a really good opportunity if you stay within a niche. And if you decide you want to do more, like I was telling Hannah on the call the other night, she's got this fitness person who has no idea what they're doing. Like Hannah could run a better gym than her at this point, and this woman wants her to be responsible for all these things in her business. And I said, just slap her with a fee. Like tell her you'll come in and consult on all that stuff for 10 grand and just get, if you're going to put your time into that, get paid for it because,
Well, I think that it's going to be really interesting. There's Troy and Riley are my business partners, right? Riley is the movie dude, and Troy is the tech, and kind of a marketing genius. He used to make $500,000 a year online.
Wow!
Selling exams for Microsoft engineers or whatever, that Microsoft course.
Yeah,
it's just, but I can't remember what it's called. But he created manuals to help people pass and sold them online. Until that market dried out, he made $500,000 a year.
That's
so
crazy.
He's a pretty smart guy, and so I've been talking to him about this, and we're thinking of really going after it.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing is with the neurofeedback providers, if I'm able to get really good results, I'm pretty sure I can get that to 150, 200 clients, right?
Right. And I think so too.
I mean, so I'm trying to figure all that shit out, and probably eventually he will be able to help with the tech. But until then, I'm pretty stuck.
Right.
I don't know how to keep up. I'm working like it's crazy.
Well, and this isn't your only gig. Obviously, you've got other stuff happening. But what have you kind of explored, like the VA options that we sort of talked about, and bringing your guy on board, or have you made any headway on that stuff at all?
I don't want to bring the guy from Arena on board.
Okay.
A couple of reasons. He's a purist. You know how some of these developers are, right? They're so he's not going to be happy dealing with ClickFunnels and that kind of shit, right?
Right.
So I don't want to use him. Troy might be up for it. We're actually kind of thinking of getting rid of that tech guy anyways. I mean, he's getting paid a lot. He's getting paid more than we are.
Right.
And he's, it's not a lot for him to do right now. So.
Right.
So Troy's probably going to jump in, but that might be a little bit down the road. So my crunch right now is I want to make 30 grand this month.
Yep.
Is my goal. There's 7 more sales. I think I can do it.
I think you can do it too. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
But I don't want to give away any yet. I don't want to give any away till next month. So I'm kind of just in this position where I'm just going to have to suck it up, right?
Yeah, this is the grind when you need the cash infusion and you're not ready for the other piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crappy month or two. We've been through a couple of those. There's worse problems to have, right? But it is still a problem. But there's worse problems to have, and it's an easy one to figure out. Only from the standpoint that when you have problems and no money, there's very little options. If you've got some money and some problems, you can start to make some things work and get.
I just got to get the money to make some of the other problems go away first, and I can get money to help this problem.
I can tell you that they really don't end. Like they always say, it's just. They just become different problems. There's just no way of escaping it, and ultimately you get better at handling them, right? Like
I got to tell you, Jeff, this other business, I mean, we're probably at got to be getting close to $2 million in revenue since we started, which is under 2 years.
That's amazing.
And we don't have any money.
Yeah. It's a different business.
Just sucks.
It's a different business model, right?
Yeah. It sucks.
I get
jumping into this and freaking in 60 days, I'm making more than I've made in a month than I did since. I mean, I used to be in financial services too, right? And I used to make pretty good coin there, but that's 10 years ago, 12 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's a different. I mean, I've said this a bunch of times. Like I would never trade my business for any of my clients' businesses, and we've worked with some big companies, right? But I know the CEOs personally. I'm usually working with them. I'm not working with like a marketing manager, and I know their margins. We get to see the inside of their business, see what their functions are like. We get to see them like throughout the seasons, watch them grow, all the stuff that they deal with, and there's not one I would take and switch
No.
places with?
No,
Never.
no. I bottom line is I've kind of told the guys I'm doing this. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'll run the Facebook ads for them,
sure.
that business, and they can do what they want with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I can still get a cut.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I think that's
You
it's a great way to do it, and it's kind of a cool proposition. I mean, you can involve them in some way too, and if they're open to it, and if they're not, no big deal, right? As
Yeah.
long as it's the opportunity doesn't really change. But this is so evergreen, I think, for all of us. The things are going to change over time, right? It's the platforms will change, this and that, but as long as businesses need leads and more revenue, there'll be a place for guys like us, which is wonderful, right? So,
well, that was the question I was going to ask you. I mean, how long is the Facebook opportunity going to last? Do you think? I mean, it's probably not going to be forever. It's struggling.
It probably won't be forever. The reality is that it's it's still fairly green. Like there's like 25 million businesses on Facebook, and I think the last numbers I saw documented were like 4.5 million of them are advertising on Facebook.
Okay.
So we've got some room there, and it took them. I mean, their ad platform's been around for a while, whatever, 5-6 years, and so it's taken them a while to even get into that little piece. So you hit kind of critical mass. But put it this way: like AdWords, Google AdWords have been around forever, and still cranking along, right? It's still their biggest. Like things change obviously all the time on the platforms, but the thing with marketing that's kind of cool is like the eyeballs are always going to be somewhere. So I mean, if it's not Facebook, theoretically, for anything to come in and replace Facebook, it's going to have to be even better. Meaning they're going to have to be able to have a way to curate more data, to be able to have users interact with it in a unique way. So the Instagrams and Snapchats and all those things that are out there, we've tried stuff on that too, and Facebook still is better and cheaper. As real estate becomes more scarce in the newsfeed, meaning more advertisers come into the newsfeed, all that's going to happen is just the prices are going to go up. Right now, prices on Facebook compared to AdWords, it's crazy, the difference. So we still got lots of room, I think, for even that price raise to come. I'm actually hoping for that because I think it'll bump a lot of people out of the market who don't maybe understand what they should be paying for leads. Like people right now are still in this kind of world of like, oh, I'm getting $2 leads. Well, you go to the same industry on AdWords and you're going to pay probably $20 a lead. So, and people pay it. Like a lot of smart businesses are happily paying $20 for a lead on AdWords because they know their numbers well enough to make that work. So I think we got room on Facebook for a while. I just never worry about problems that don't exist yet. So I'm sure we'll
I don't think about it too much either. But
we'll figure it out.
Funny. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little tip too on the being able to track the interest targeting.
Yeah.
I use Adespresso.
Okay. Yeah, they're good
and
too.
It tells you exactly what interest got clicks.
Interesting.
So you can pull like 20 interests together, and I find that really helpful because when you're dealing with a small ad budget in a small geographical area, you have to load it up with interest to get any kind of traction, right?
That's right.
And then you can't test a whole bunch if you're only spending $15 a day.
Right. Yeah,
so,
your budget won't allow it.
No, so that really helps with that. So I don't know if that's something you want to tell anybody.
We can.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, we don't use it a ton. We use like there's a few. We use Quia, which is kind of like a competitor to Adespresso. But I've kind of asked a few people like what do they like better. It's funny because we just got in the habit of using Quia, and I've never used Adespresso, but a lot of people have been saying Adespresso is better, or they like it for functionality or usability.
Yeah.
So something we could consider and try. We've got a bunch of new stuff, obviously, that we're putting together for the new version. So if you think it's something really good, maybe one that we'll do we'll have you on a call one night and we can go through it together, and we'll just do it on
share the screen or something.
Yeah, just do like a Monday night call and you can train. I mean, Jess and I are totally open to having anybody who's getting results teach, because there's a lot of ways to do this business and to make it work. And quite frankly, we're all still pretty, in the big scheme of things, we're all amateurs. Doesn't matter our agency, your agency.
I got to tell you though, like if you had, because you're a good copywriter, I've noticed, and you obviously know your stuff with everything else. If there's more campaign samples and more copy samples and stuff, it would be a huge help.
See, and Jess and
Because
I,
it's really hard for me to kind of come up with ideas, especially when I'm overloaded, right?
yeah,
And,
we just had a meeting with our mentor about this because we were talking about course creation and how to teach people. Like, this training is a little bit more mastermind style, where it's intensive about how people, like, people's learning habits, like a lot more deeper stuff about how to get programs really working well. And it's funny because he said, there's a difference between what people think they need and what people actually need to get results. So, people come into programs for things like Done For You. All these funnels are here for you. We'll write all the copy for you. It's all done. But in reality, what ends up happening usually with people like that who come in is when it doesn't work, they're screwed because you haven't taught them how to learn. You haven't taught them how to, think and go through this stuff for themselves. And so Jess and I were weighing on this because we were like, you know what? These champagne campaigns is cool. It's a good idea. It's a ton of work for us to put them together and put it all out. So there's nothing wrong with that. We're used to work, but the reality is when somebody who's brand new comes in and they take that campaign and then they go run it, if they don't get results from it, which happens because they don't work in every market or whatever the case, it could be something about it that doesn't work. They're sort of left like, number one, feeling like, okay, this doesn't work, like Facebook advertising doesn't work, or they don't know what the next step is. So they basically come into the group and say, they refuse. It's like they turn their brain off. It's just like, well, this didn't work, so now what do I do? Versus if we were to teach people why campaigns work, what makes copy good copy, what makes these types of campaigns work in these certain industries. So we've been weighing it back and forth, right? Because it's really sexy on the front end.
Both are good, right?
Both are good, and that, I think that's likely where we're going to end up leaning, because even though it's more work, I don't know why we always pick the route that ends up being more work, but it's very sexy to have on the front end to sell people into the program, because that's what people think that they need. And then it's almost like once they get in, we have to tell them, okay, here is that stuff if you need it, but that's not what's going to save you. That's not what's going to make you a great marketer. That's not what we didn't just get a bunch of funnels and put them out. We had to learn why funnels work and didn't work. So if something breaks, you're not left there like, well, now what do I do? You're always dependent on somebody in the group or a coach. It's more like teaching somebody how to fish, where we want people to be able to adjust with things. I think that's what makes a good marketer anyways, right? Is to kind of how to sail the waters when, the conditions change, right? But you're right. It's like people love it. So we've been like super going back and forth. Our mentor is like, take them out. Like, it's like, you're screwing people over. He's like, you think you're helping people, but you're screwing them because they're not.
I see both sides to it, but I also see a lot of mentors have their way of doing things, and they're not really open to any other ways. I mean, one of the things I've really learned in the last year, I guess, took me a long time, is don't plan too much in the future.
It could change. Things could change quickly.
Focus on what you can do today, and stay on that, right?
Absolutely.
And it makes a big difference.
It
I
does.
used to live in the future a lot, and I always look at my girls and all the things they tell you to do, and it really worked out. It was discouraging, and you didn't ever get shit done.
Right.
So
yeah, there's a lot to be said for just going to work every day on what is the most productive thing possible that you can do, right?
You still got to have a path, right? But not the big, I need to go make $1 million, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
And I don't really think that's the right way to do it, at least not for me.
It's good to have the vision. Like, the vision, I think, should be there. But then it's like back engineer it down to, well, what needs to be done today and this week? Like, what's my game plan to get just this stuff knocked out? And if you do enough weeks like that, the rest of it comes. Jess and I have never been focused on an income really for TPL. Even that number I threw out is like, it's not something we talk about. It's just a number.
Just kind of a vision.
Yeah, right? Vision. Like, oh, that'd be cool. I don't even know if we need that, or what you know what I mean? Like, what we do.
Why not, right?
Why not? I guess. I mean, it could get there. I could see how it could get there, but it's not something that we sit around and talk about. Most of the time, we're talking about, like, you guys are shit,
Yeah.
our support sucked today or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's all the daily stuff, right? So I think if you
Yeah.
have enough good days, they add up, right? So and then you get to the